Hello, everyone. Today we're going to be talking about how to enable your chatbot to communicate with Google Sheets. And we're going to be talking about how to use Voiceflow specifically. And for those who don't know, Voiceflow is basically just a chatbot building platform. And you're going to be able, with the method I'm going to show you, to recreate this for any chatbot building platform. But for the purpose of this video, we're just going to be using Voiceflow. And we're going to be using another website called make.com to make this happen. Basically, the purpose of using make.com is going to be to use our webhooks. And without getting into any technical coding specifics, because I'm not even a coder myself, basically all you need to know is that it's going to help us, it's going to act as an intermediary to help us communicate between Voiceflow and Google Sheets, sort of just talking back and forth. Without making this any more complicated, let's just get into it. So before we get into the method that I'm going to teach you today, I quickly want to set up an example so like we can kind of work on a real life example and you can kind of apply this to whatever you want. I'm going to be working on a chatbot today, and it's a chatbot that's tracking my progress for something called monk mode. And really quickly, I'll show you guys the Google Sheet I'm using for that. It's basically tracking certain goals for me every day. So basically, waking up before 10 a.m., drinking 4 liters of water, working out for 30 minutes, working for 3 hours, and reading every day. And this one indicates that I achieved that goal on that day, and a zero means that I didn't get that goal. So basically, I want to teach my chatbot to look up this data and tell me on a given day whether or not I achieved any of these goals. Okay, now that we understand the basic setup and we have the idea, we want to go to Voiceflow and start working on the feature. So I'm just going to sign in. And you can create a free account if you don't have one. But I'm just going to go to this chatbot. So yeah, I've actually already worked on this chatbot a bit, but I haven't started building the feature that we're talking about for today's video. So I'm just going to go through that with you guys. The way I've set up this chatbot is once the user says something to the bot, something like, hey, I want to check today's progress, it's going to take them like all the way over here. And it's going to ask, would you like me to provide you with today's progress update? And then this is the route we're going to follow. Uh, so when the user clicks yes to that question, we want to make a route here. And what we want to add in is something called an API call. And this, you can find this under dev API. Basically, this API call, without having to know too much about it, it's going to trigger the function that we're going to build in order to start getting the data from Google Sheets and then eventually return it back to us so we can tell the user something about their data. This is the basic setup for Voiceflow. And at this point, we're going to want to go ahead and head over to make.com. And once you get there, again, I'm just going to log in, but you can make a free account if you don't already have one. And once you're in your account, you want to create a new scenario. This is what we're going to be working with. This is sort of the playground for make.com. The first thing you want to add in is what we talked about previously, which is a webhook. There's different kinds of webhooks. So the first one you want to add is a custom webhook, right? And it's going to ask you to choose a hook. You can just create a new hook and just really give it a name. So I'm just going to call this webhook 1. And then it's going to give you this URL here. So what you want to do is copy this URL, head back over to Voiceflow, and make sure to post it here where it says request URL. Now you have pasted in the webhook URL. We're actually going to go back to make.com and build out the rest of the scenario. So yeah, we have the first webhook, which is going to trigger the scenario. Then we're going to add another module. We're going to add the Google Sheets module. And because for this specific task, we want to look up data, we're going to go down to searches and we're going to choose search rows. Once this pops up, it's just going to prompt you to connect your Google Sheets account. I already have done this, but you just want to do this so you can actually access the Google Sheet. Select my drive and look up the spreadsheet. Sheet name. For column range, really anything is going to be fine here, just because I'm not working with that much data. And now we're getting to the filter section. Basically, this is gonna be what determines what row in the Excel sheet or spreadsheet we're gonna look up. So just to show you what I'm talking about, I'm gonna head back over here. So really, because we chose search rows, it's only gonna search one row in our sheet, and we want to make sure that that coincides with today's date. So today is the 20th of July. And to do that, we're going to want to have an indicator variable. This variable is called is it today? And it's going to say 0 for when it's today's date. And to show you guys how I did this, I can just go through it again. Just delete this really quick. So right here, we just want to have today's date. And this is actually a function in Excel where you just type in today, and this is going to automatically update today's date. Next, you want to go here and just have today's date, subtract that from the date in your progress. And then if you drag this down, oops, I'm gonna try that again. Okay, there we go. So maybe you're just gonna have to try that a couple of times, but it's just gonna be like a bunch of numbers, and then it's always gonna be 0 for today's date. Then we can go back to make.com and choose filter by and go down to is it today, and you want to have it where it's equal to 0. And for maximum number of returned rows, again, we're just returning one row. All right, so I'm coming back to this part of the video as I'm editing. And one thing I forgot to mention is this is going to be updated automatically. So once it becomes the 21st, this will no longer be 0. This will become 1. This will be the new 0. Basically, just to let you guys know that although this might seem like extra work, this is going to simplify it for you so that it's automatically like understanding that you only want to get today's date, and it will just do that for you every day. So now we're going to go ahead and add our final module, and it's going to be another webhook. But this time, instead of a custom webhook, it's going to be a webhook response. And here, make.com already knows that this is really the only one that works in this scenario. And that's because we want to take the data that we already got from Google Sheets, and now we want to send it back to Voiceflow. So yeah, this is the webhook that does this. This is going to be the content of what we're sending back to Voiceflow. And you can see here we have all the variables from the Google Sheet. Let's say we want to send back the date, wake up time, how much water we drank, or not wake up time, sorry, whether or not we woke up before 10 a.m. Work out, work for 3 hours, and read. Unfortunately, this is not enough, as Voiceflow will not be able to understand this because it actually is only going to take in what is called the JSON format. And this is like a coding format, so we need to like reformat this basically. And again, I'm not a coder myself, but still, I'm gonna teach you guys how to do this because it's fairly simple. You're gonna want to add a curly bracket at the beginning, and then add the apostrophe, just like that, and have the date be inside there. And you're gonna want to have a comma here, and then wake up at 10 a.m. colon, and yeah, you can have this here. Put that in colon as well, and another comma. And yeah, I'm just gonna skip through this, but you guys get the idea. Okay, and once you wrote all this down, you just want to finish with a closed curly bracket. And just to make sure everything is working fine, now that we finished, we can actually test this by clicking run once, go back to Voiceflow, go to this get function and click send request. And yeah, so once you've gotten this 200 code, that's how we know the scenario is working fine. And just to further check that everything is working well, you can see we got the variables you wanted and we got the values as well. So here it's saying that we did everything today instead of except for waking up before 10 a.m. And you can just verify that that's the case in the Google Sheets. And yeah, everything is working fine. Hey guys, it's a new day, but we're back. Picking up this video, and the last thing we talked about was testing the actual scenario that we set up, and everything was working fine. So now what we want to do is go back to make.com, and this time we want to turn on scheduling. This will make sure that the scenario is always running, so that anytime we send a request from Voiceflow, it's just going to be working. Right. Now the final step is going to be just working in Voiceflow. So the first thing we're going to be doing is working with capture response right here. Basically, what this does is so once we send the request, all we're getting back is this JSON format of code, and we actually want to save some of the status. Some of these things we don't want to keep. Don't really want to save. What you want to keep though is, let's say you wanted to save this date. What we would do is we would write down in here something like response dot date. Um, and if you wanted to learn like how to format this, you can read about it from the Voiceflow docs. But I'm just gonna teach you for simplicity. Basically, you just want to take this header, type in response dot that, and then you want to apply it to a new variable. So we're creating a new variable. You can call this date one, and boom, just like that, you save this. So just to demonstrate, let's say you wanted to talk back to the user and just print the date, you would do this. So just like that, as we saved it here. And then now I can run this test scenario, and there we go. It's showing me the date. Now the next step is going to be heading back here and just making sure to add in all the things that you need. So for me, I'm going to want to take the date, wake up, drink, work out, work and read. So these are the components of my progress update. So I need to make sure to store all of these. And yeah, sort of in the same way, we're just going to repeat the process. I'm just going to skip through this and show you guys the final result. Once you have all of the variables saved, just going to quickly make sure that we are getting the right things. So I'm just going to type all these in here. Uh, work, underscore one, read, and so if this is working correctly, um, we should see now the date and yeah. Okay, and now for the final touches. We're actually going to be getting rid of this text box. But maybe first we'll copy this. Instead, we're going to have something called a response AI here. And this is going to help us generate the progress update report. And I'm just going to fill this out and I'll see you guys in a minute. All right, so to quickly go over this, I know it's quite long, but usually structuring these prompts in this way just helps provide like more accurate and consistent results. So down here, I said you are a helpful progress assistant. You provide accurate progress updates in a concise manner. For the prompt, I just explained the task, which is provide a progress update for today using the following information. I gave them today's date, and I gave them the format. So this is the format the bot takes in, and I gave them the output I would like. So I gave them an example as well, so they can kind of understand what I expect of them. I expect an output of uh, this, for example, and I also asked to please present this information in a form of a checklist and using emojis. Yeah, let's test it out and see what we get. Okay, there we go. So, like we explained, this is a progress update for the July the 24th. It's saying that all our tasks except for wake up at or before 10 a.m. You achieved all your goals for today except for waking up by 10 a.m. So there we have it, guys. That's how you build out this feature for your chatbots. Right. So if you guys made it this far in the video, thank you for watching and thank you for bearing with me. I hope this was helpful. And one thing I wanted to add was you can actually create this feature using something called Airtable. Airtable is similar to Google Spreadsheets. However, it's a lot easier to use because you can actually like integrate it directly with Voiceflow. So you won't have to use make.com or anything like that. And if you want to see another video explaining how to do that, leave a comment below, and maybe I'll do it. I hope this video was so helpful, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.